Gambling addiction can ruin lives, destroy fortunes, and affect anyone, even the most successful celebrities and businessmen among us. Today, we're counting down the 10 worst gambling addicts in history. Now, the goal of diving into these stories is to illustrate just how severe and all-encompassing the gambling addiction can be, not to compare amounts or give anyone a reason to keep gambling. In fact, they're not ranked by dollar amounts at all. Now, just because someone in this video may have lost more money than you, doesn't mean that your problem isn't valid if you're struggling personally. Gambling addiction is something that can tear apart families, burn through productive years of your life, and put you in stressful financial crises that many couldn't even imagine. Let's dive into it. Number 10, Pete Rose. Rose's story is pretty well known, as he ended up gambling on games that he was playing in and even being linked to the mob in doing so. And he's paying a hefty price for being associated with gambling. Rose has a lifetime ban from baseball, and he's ineligible to be voted to the Hall of Fame, despite the fact that he was an all-time leader in hits and he had a very successful career. By Pete's own admission, he gambled on games as a player and as a manager. But it goes to show that even players who are at the top of their game could have the temptation arise to get involved with gambling. And also, this was well before the days of FanDuel and DraftKings, so it's even more accessible today. Number 9 is David Milch. The acclaimed television writer and producer behind shows like Deadwood and NYPD Blue, Milch's gambling addiction led him to lose around $100 million. His story is a stark example of how a successful career in entertainment can get overshadowed by the dark cloud of addiction. Based on the testimonies of those who know him pretty well, he's an exceptionally talented person, but is also prone to some problematic and extreme behavior. A lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court in Santa Monica reveals that he lost $25 million gambling between 2000 and 2011. Despite colleagues estimating that he had earned over $100 million during his 3-decade Hollywood career, the lawsuit showed that he was now burdened with $17 million in debts. I know an acquaintance of David Milch personally, and from what I've heard, he's an amazing guy. And he's also been able to turn his life around from that point and find fulfillment. No matter how far things have gotten, there is always a chance to turn it around and a chance to live a better life. Number 8, Charles Barkley. The NBA Hall of Famer and now sports analyst has publicly admitted to losing over $30 million through gambling on sports, blackjack, and other casino games. It's been reported that he lost $1 million in a day over 20 different times due to his gambling. This type of repetition is something that I can relate to personally as a gambling addict. We think things will go differently the next time, but they always end up going the exact same way, as all wins eventually become future losses. Barkley's openness about his losses highlight the potential scale of a gambling addiction, even among sports legends. Number 7, TJ Cloutier. This professional poker player has won 6 World Series of Poker bracelets, yet his gambling addiction saw him lose millions in casino games. It is the disease of always wanting more, as winning millions of dollars didn't stop him from continuing to chase after the next big win, and eventually, he gave it all back to the house. He once said, "It used to be an issue, but not nearly as much as everyone thinks. The only time I played really high was when I had their money." So, I mean, over the years, sure, I've lost some money at it because what the hell, it's a game. It's an addictive game, for Christ's sake. But I still play once in a while, but not for any kind of money anymore. Thinking that money you are up in the casino isn't really yours, but that you're playing with house money that can go back chasing the next win is a staple of the gambling problem. It's because we continue to justify that next bet. Number 6, Stort Errol Ungar. Often regarded as one of the greatest poker players of all time, Ungar's addiction extended beyond poker to sports betting, leading to financial ruin despite winning the World Series of Poker main event 3 times. This is becoming a common pattern in this list. His tragic story shows that no amount of talent can protect someone from the dangers of gambling addiction. Number 5. John Daly. The professional golfer known for his erratic behavior both on and off the course, Daly has admitted to losing between $50 million and $60 million gambling. A single blackjack hand for him could cost anything from $5,000 to $15,000. To illustrate how bad this gambling problem got, I point to this story. In an attempt to reduce his losses, Daly eventually began to play slots. This is something that's pretty common among people with gambling problems, because I did it too. We think, oh, okay, we're losing in this aspect of gambling, let's go try another one, because it's going to be different when we do that kind of gambling. Daly is said to have lost 7 figures in the matter of an hour. Things can progress rapidly for someone with a gambling problem. Number 4. Michael Vick. The former NFL quarterback lost an estimated $10 million due to gambling, both in terms of actual losses and also in fines related to his involvement in an illegal dogfighting ring. Vick's downfall serves as a powerful reminder of how a gambling addiction can lead to devastating legal and financial consequences. Number 3. Harry Kakavas. This Australian real estate mogul reportedly lost $1.5 billion over 14 months gambling in various casinos around the world, particularly the Crown Casino in Melbourne. Kakavas' staggering losses illustrate the fact that no amount of money will ever satisfy the compulsive gambler. He had billions of dollars, and he kept gambling. It was never about the money. It was about keeping the rush going. Number 2. Archie Karas, known for The Run, where he turned $50 into $40 million through poker, pool, and dice. Karas eventually lost it all back to the casinos. He self-proclaims to have gambled more money than anyone in history, and has lived through admittedly one of the wildest up and down roller coasters that I've ever seen personally. But this pattern is something that plays out in a smaller fashion for most problem gamblers. We have a win or a streak of wins that tell us subconsciously that we can always win again. Even when that streak runs for months or years, one day the true odds always catch up and the casino always wins. To go from such a small amount of money to an outrageous sum and never be satisfied through it all tells you that there's no win that's ever big enough to satisfy the smallest dream for a compulsive gambler. Now, if you want to hear who number 1 on our list is, then smash that subscribe button. My account is aimed at helping you to avoid making the same mistakes that I and so many others on this list have made as a result of a gambling addiction. You don't have to be struggling with a gambling problem to be a part of this community. But I hope that stories like this, and like mine if you watch the other videos that I put out, will be a valuable reminder that you could go through this if things go too far. It can happen to anyone. Number 1. Terren Watanabe. He's an American businessman who sold his business and then gambled the money away. In 2007, he was reported to have lost $127 million at the Caesars Palace and the Rio in Las Vegas, after having gambled a total of $825 million. Watanabe's gambling losses are among the largest ever recorded by a single individual in Las Vegas history. I have him at number 1 because his story is particularly haunting to me. We all want to do well in life. We all want to find success. And we all want to work on something that brings us fulfillment and joy. In Watanabe's case, he built a business worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And that wasn't enough satisfaction to keep him from chasing his losses to almost $1 billion in Las Vegas. When it comes to gambling, nothing is ever enough. But problem gamblers will often think that finding success on the tables or playing cards will lead us to finding meaning. Gambling doesn't do anything to get you closer to happiness, but it can absolutely help you get further away. These stories are cautionary tales of how gambling addiction can devastate lives regardless of what kind of success, talent, fortune, or fame you have. If you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, seek help right away. My account is here to help you find it. Remember, the house always wins in the end. Don't be fooled. If you found this video informative, share it with one of your friends that gambles. And if you've ever been curious about how casinos really make their money, then check out this video that I put together, and let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.